Hello again, second update for the day. Majors, old majors. I'll try and do new majors. I thought I'd just do it as a separate stream / video, just in case I take longer than this anticipated, which I probably will because I'm me and I take long. Well, because analysis, it takes a long time. So Litecoin, EOS, BCH and XRP, which are all taking off overnight. First, I'm going to have a quick look at what Grayscale is doing, because those have been clearly leading, which I've said a number of times, but it hasn't helped a great deal because these took so long in comparison to what Grayscale did. So Grayscale Litecoin's still at resistance, but obviously the takeoff on Litecoin's been overnight, so I don't know if this is going to take off tomorrow maybe, not tomorrow, Monday. Update yearly level up there. Why did that not change? Why do you hate me? Yeah, why? Oh, I'm not on the right thing, that's why. Blame myself. Okay, so we've got a yearly level above to watch out for. 6 months, 3 months. So we have a 3-month demand below. Hasn't been tested, but we did go quite deep into it. Haven't made a new monthly, 3-week, 2-week. No, another week till the 2-week closes, and weekly. It's going to make a weekly demand just here, but a week one. So yeah, Litecoin at resistance. It has been for a while, so maybe Litecoin, our Litecoin is now catching up. Either that, or we'll see this breakout next week. BCH has been stronger for a while again, so we've got 3-month demand, 2-month demand, and also in their 3-month supply. So again, just need to see how this plays out. Well, no, sorry, monthly supply, but 3-month level just above. Just need to see how this plays out, given it's at resistance and it hasn't pulled back significantly. It's going to make a bit of a nicer weekly demand. I think we could see this move next week. But yeah, they're not much use for where we're at now, as in they don't have space to resistance for us to then look at the traditional pairs to see whether they're gonna stop anytime soon. So Litecoin, US dollar. So I'm on this, like I didn't, I think in my last update, I was very reluctant to call anything on it because of the mess down here, the fact we'd have this 2-month level, but it got hit once and then it came back deep into it and then it was hit the 3rd time, so I was a bit reluctant to do much on it in that update, and I said I would only do something if it showed me something, which it then did. So we've now made a new monthly demand here. See that red candle there, so that's monthly demand, the brown. 3-week, 2-week, 2-week inside it, and so I will alert that. Let me just check I haven't got any alerts significantly lower. Keep running out of alerts lately, so I need to start not having quite so many. So monthly demand here to alert. Delete that off so I don't confuse people. And now up into monthly supply, so let me look at the bigger structure. Log. So this is sort of like a multi-year kind of chart. Or when I look at the macro structure, that we bounced on this annual demand down here and came up and took out the high. So that was a difficult one. So with this range, we kind of expect if we're going to take out the high, we're going to take out the low. So don't discount that. But at the moment, obviously, we are being locally bullish, even though we're significantly weaker than many other alts. But we need to break through this supply, get up into here, and then start seeing some consolidation to think this yearly level is going to play out from just the first test on it. Just looking over the computer, all the rain's coming in the window. So I've had this 2-month supply alerted. It's not a strong 2-month supply because it didn't break below. But, excuse me, smoking as usual. I would still ideally expect a pullback from this zone of some sort. having said that, obviously a lot of other alts are breaking through this zone, but then also most other alts have already tested it once, whereas this hasn't, because this, and that was why I didn't want to call any longs after this one, because yeah, it just simply wasn't holding strong compared to a lot of the other alts. So if I go down to the weekly, so yeah, I'm reasonably comfortable with looking for shorts on this soon. I don't think it's necessarily overly high probability, but don't want to keep losing my train of thought. I think I'm just quite tired this week. So yeah, it's not overly high probability because it hasn't made a lower low from this. It's just held solid the impulse. However, I would typically expect a pullback from here. So shorts are more the higher probability trade, assuming the market does start correcting, obviously, because we don't want to be shorting anything the way the market's correcting. Like most alts, yeah, you're seeing the break from any shorts that were in here on retests of this structure. So obviously we've gone through that, and now this is the next major level of resistance, and we've hit a weekly supply inside the 2 monthly supply. So yeah, I wouldn't be longing this right now, based on this chart anyway. We do have various 12-hour demands, so if you want to scalp off retests of any of these levels, that's fine. I would stick with a 12-hour, given we are coming down from a 2 monthly supply. Let's put that cross out of the way. 8-hour, 4-hour. So yeah, while we might keep moving from here, if you didn't get in earlier, now is not the time to buy, in my opinion. There will be better things to buy. So you're looking, like any alt you're looking to buy around here, and on breaks of these trend lines, anything that hasn't moved yet, and or if they've hit major supplies after a significant pullback. So, or at least seeing some consolidation. But yes, while this could go from 88, you know, well, I mean, it could go up to the next supply of 3 month up there, but I don't want to be, I'm going to put an alert there just because things are moving quite fast, but I'll keep an eye on it from the lower time frame perspective to see if it gives us anything. I mean, that really is too far away to put an alert, quite honestly, but I haven't actually refreshed this chart, which is why the old alert's still showing. Delete. Yeah, so it might come through this level. That would be the next area that I'm looking at for shorts if it does come through this level, but wouldn't actually recommend buying right now. So you're looking for either it to do a significant retest and come all the way back down to this monthly, weekly, or you're looking at some sort of consolidation through here and holding one of these 12-hour zones higher if the market's, oh, I did put it across there, if the market's going to stay more aggressive. That's that. Let me just do gold majors. Where are you? Next alts. BTC pair, interesting. So finally getting a bit of a bounce on that, not surprisingly, and only really since yesterday, I think, or the last couple of days. 3 week supply up here. 2 week, weekly, 2 week in there as well. Already got tested. And then we're hitting a weekly here as well. So another day till the 3-day closes, but might make a 3-day demand there, and then have a 3-day supply in here. So there's still potentially a little bit of space on this pair, whether that means that Bitcoin's going to drop and this just drops less. But while we've had a decent up move, you can see we've had these before, and then it just consolidates in resistance before dropping again. So we need to see something more like this, where it's going to take us through the local supply, consolidate, and then get the bigger move up. On the plus side, it is a very, very choppy supply through here. So if we do see something break, then you can look for a long on this to take it all the way up to here, because I don't think like a lot of this isn't going to have much resistance. But obviously that's the low we've broken, so really we need to get over here to have any overconfidence on Litecoin outperforming against BTC. I still suspect it's possible that, you know, BTC, because of what I said in the market update earlier and the fact where BTC is at right now, I do think it's possible we get the bigger drop on Bitcoin and then but a lesser drop on some of these alts, particularly because they haven't moved that much in the first place. This would be unusual. I guess we don't normally get a lesser drop on alts, but it can happen because Bitcoin's moved so much. But yeah, this looking more bullish doesn't necessarily mean that the US dollar pair is going to go up more. However, it does have space to resistance, so again, doesn't really confirm shorting immediately here. And we could see a consolidation through here, particularly after all this consolidation below. Like, it shouldn't really just stop and come straight back down again. Yeah. Just look at some other structures. So you can see here is similar, like a long consolidation below, and then took a lot of time there before coming back down, and then got the bigger move. So the more significant bull run. So we could see some of that, like an extra sort of hanging out in here, pull back to here, and then get the big move later in the year or next year. Okay, so that's Litecoin for now. So the summarized version: wait for monthly demand for macro longs, look for consolidation through here in the 12-hour for more immediate longs if you want to FOMO it. And other than that, this is potentially a place for looking for shorts, not longs. Ripple. So Ripple, again, like my last updates on this have just been, I just don't really think it's overly bullish. So we did have a 3-month demand, so I said it wasn't going to be looking for shorts. Yeah, and so obviously we've now finally got to bounce off that 3-month. But here would be my preferred 3 months, and I really just don't, on the macro, I just don't like how slow this is through here. But you know, I mean, like it's a tough one, because like, while I don't like how slow it is holding, and it does have a 3-month demand, so it is possible it just does a massive random Ripple style push. But really, I would have liked it to have come back down into this 3-month first, and it does concern me that this is an A, B, C still on this. So from a 3-month perspective, God, this chart is so messy. And anything, sorry, I didn't cover on Litecoin. Let me just go back just so you can see the entries I was looking at. So I did end up having a trendline breakout entry on this. If anyone took that, that was nice. Didn't get very far, and potentially would have got stopped out depending on where if they had a stop below here, they'd be fine. But if you had a stop here, not so fine. Made a weekly demand, and then when we got the wick down, that also hit. It might have been too fast, probably was too fast to actually get the entry, but really was that wick down that really propelled this whole move up. And that's what we saw on quite a few alts actually, that everybody thought, oh my god, the price is going to die from here, but they fell straight back into demand. So if you'd had anything alerted in there, which I had a whole lot of alerts go off, line, I don't know what that line's doing. Yeah, I had a whole lot of alerts go off through there. Take out a lot of these lines. So yeah, gave some nice entries in there anyway. But that's what you're looking for in a lot of these, that we are having these like larger triangles being made. Trend lines are breaking, we're getting a retest and then taking off, and sometimes they're taking off immediately. It just depends on the timing of the trend line break. So anyway, yeah, that's that. Back to Ripple, because I digressed. Oh, long shot on. Okay, so Ripple, like I said, I haven't really liked the high time frame much, other than the fact we did have that 3-month demand which got tested. So this is the 3-month level. This is really such a messy chart. So I did get a number of entries off that level, but less more recently. So we're going to make a weekly, I'm marking in all the weekly demands under the assumption we're not going to have a crash before tomorrow, which hopefully we won't. So this Ripple's actually kind of indicative of a lot of the So we have a 5-day demand already in there, 4-day, 3-day, 2-day, daily, right. So again, this is another one, like I had the entry on the daily here and it wicked down into it and took off. I think it might have gone just very slightly below the level, but that would have been a decent entry if anyone took that alert. And then I also had a short entry, which I've had here for a while, on this 2-week supply, which did get a reaction, but again, not very much, before picking up daily demand and going higher again. So now we're up still in this 2-weekly supply. So this is one of the ones that I'd be more inclined to think would break if we compare to a lot of the other alts. Because, yeah, again, weekly supply because it didn't break the low. We are coming off 3-month demand. Still really should delete some of these alerts that I've got all the way down here. Even in here, yeah, there's this monthly level that I wanted tested down there. So we went very close to it but didn't get into it, so I've left the alert there. And then there was also a daily here, which I will take out now. So there was a lot of these had this daily demand at the bottom after that first move up, and I had a lot of shorts on a lot of alts in these sorts of areas, hoping that the short would then take it back into the demand, but it didn't in a lot of cases. I think you'll see that a lot on the new majors if I do that later. I'm going to remove that. I said it's not high probability, it wasn't at that stage, but obviously it went up not caring. So yeah, then now I put in, so this is a more aggressive, we are still coming off 2-week supply, but it's a 2-week supply, so I have put in an aggressive long on this alert on this daily there. There is this untested 5-day down inside that, so I'll just put a comment on that in the alert. 5-day inside, just because it's quite a big zone. But worth watching from there and then possibly down to this 5-day. It's a big zone because of the wick that's come off it, but might get the immediate reaction if it comes back at all. And then my next major area of shorting would be up here, which we've got, so I'm going to put in a comment. So I was looking for an SFP into the monthly level, which really I was looking for for back here like a long time ago, which never came, and then 2-week supply above that. So yeah, you can see there's that monthly that was untested just at the highs, and then the 2-week inside that up here. So those are the two levels I'd be looking at for short re-entries. Not really here, again, a bit like Litecoin, it's not a high probability zone, it's a zone that you shouldn't be longing right in, but also a zone that's much more likely to break given the current state of the market. It's had a wick off it already and it's now pushed higher, so again, if it comes back, look for longs. Well, the daily there is a 12-hour just above it, which now my luck will get front run for. And if we again, once we come back down here, if we start to break some of these zones and make supply, then I'll be much more inclined to look for shorts. I just don't want to look for blind shorts in the current market. BTC pair looks very similar to, so I did actually have an alert here on the 3-day demand. Obviously it's gone a bit deeper into it. So we've got a 3-month supply above, 2 months. So we're in this large monthly demand. That weekly off that because that's not very useful anymore. And structurally this isn't bad as far as buying the logos. I mean, Litecoin's basically the same as that, but the problem with Litecoin is it doesn't actually have support at all-time lows, so I'm much less inclined. But yeah, okay, so on this, typically what we expect, do we have any weekly in there actually, or is that just a 3-day? So I've got a 5-day. So, as normal, it hasn't moved as much as other things. It has a 5-day supply there. Looking for it to break that, retest, go. If it's going to hold this level, we've got a couple of weeklies to get through going up here, and then the major zone of interest would be that 3-month. If we can make it all the way back up there. So this, yeah, starting to be more inclined to look for longs on Ripple, but need to see this break and then hold a retest. Assuming it doesn't do one of these again. Pulling it out straight out of the bag before giving any chance of entry. But yeah, so the US dollar pair, that does give confluence for, again, not really shorting. Well, okay, so I'm being preemptive here. The BTC pair tells me it might bounce. I've gone on the wrong BTC pair there. But it tells me it might bounce here. That's Bittrex. Let's get rid of that. So it tells me, yes, we're in support, we might bounce, but we need to break structure. Then I'd be looking for longs on this. Then I'd be inclined to look for longs on the US dollar pair. But the US dollar pair needs to pull back first. And or I can set an alert on this triangle. So it's trying to break the triangle on both log and linear. It's not something I love because obviously you can see with this triangle it came down below and then went straight back up through it, so it can break down but then not really care. And Ripple's actually king for that. Ripple is a very good at breaking triangles to the upside, faking out and then dumping. So just be a little bit aware of that. But yeah, so again, looking for the pullback into here, looking for the move up on this. And the BTC pair will give you confluence if it can break the 3-day supply. BCH. This one, sadly, I didn't get an entry on, and I was always just really nervous of all these stops below here, unfortunately. I did, like, verbally give an entry in the premium, and I did say, like, we're holding now. So the problem we'd had with this is that, if I show you the monthly, and BCH has done this to me twice now, it's intensely irritating. So here it had made a monthly demand and it came back down so deep into it I basically forgot about it like 5 months later, and then it threw the massive candle. And then this hasn't been quite so long, but again, we made a monthly demand here, so I'd alerted the top of it, which hit in January. But then it came down so deeply into it that I kept commenting that we are still in monthly demand, but it didn't really want to give me an entry I wanted. And then I simply didn't look at it at the right time. So I had this weekly alerted here if we came back and took these trendline stops, and I had the monthly alerted down there, neither of which got tested. So we are going to make a weekly demand in here today, tomorrow. The monthly, there is a new monthly as well. So I have already alerted the new monthly there. That's if we get back there, but then there is a weekly sitting on top of it, so I'm going to move that alert up just so we capture that weekly in case 1 week demand, in case it sort of front runs the monthly demand, 1 month inside. Again, if it gets back here. I mean, at some stage it will get back here, but if it gets back here on this run, there's a lot of these now with having had such big moves, only to get back to the monthly demands are going to be quite big drops. But then, you know, again, it's always possible. We see a lot of this over here. So that would be, did I put the right comment on that? Wait, 1 week demand and then 1 month inside, so I moved that up slightly. But really, I mean, I guess, yeah, with this long a consolidation and this much of a breakout, I probably want to see this move quite a lot more before coming back here, or at least hold for quite a long time. But yeah, it shouldn't really come straight back into here. From the short perspective, had a yearly supply, so this is actually still in a yearly supply, even though it's a weak one. But we've got a yearly level coming up, 3 months, and then a 2 month and monthly levels. So yeah, again, the short side, stick with that really. The short side want on this would ideally be a little bit higher. However, we are now in weekly supply. Here, so we're in a 2 week supply right here, and it's kind of basically going up into the middle of it. Take that line out. We're finally coming in revisiting some of my old lines. Yeah, so come back up into this 2-week weekly supply. So again, I wouldn't mind seeing if this can get like just a soft, slow push up to here, then I'd be more confident of shorting. Do we want to short the level immediately? Possibly not, because there is a weekly. Oh, it's already been tested, but there's a weekly up here, and there's a 3-day a little bit higher along with that yearly level. So maybe a little bit higher around the 550 mark would be more appropriate for shorting. But again, you can't long after a candle like this unless you're a crazy person or scalping the very low time frames. And this also, yeah, has a big drop to that 12-hour demand. Let me see what happened when it hit here. So I mean, here it comes down very slowly. So again, we've just got to wait for more structure now. It's going to give us structure either to the upside or to the downside on the lower time frames. So there is a 4-hour. I'm going to alert that just for fun. So we are seeing, assuming the market doesn't have some epic crash, we are seeing that like most of these local levels hold. So I'm going to throw a 4-hour alert in here for possible scalps on this. But again, I mean, really, like if you're trading, it depends if you're specifically interested in these versus if you're trading all the alts. There will be better, there's always better trades than these majors. I just like to look at them again more from a confluence perspective, like if I think the whole market is at a point it might reverse, which it kind of is. I don't necessarily think, actually my one comment I probably didn't make on Bitcoin earlier, which I should have made, was that it takes time. Like typically we don't just see a spike up and then a dump like you can do on alts. Like if you look at all the consolidations on Bitcoin previously, they're all significantly slower. So yeah, we'll see what happens when we get down here. So there's weekly and monthly levels alerted down there, and then this 4-hour, which might give some scalps up into the higher monthly supply levels. I think my shoulders are killing me today. BTC pair. Not surprising, didn't hit my alert. Let's see. So obviously this has had the bigger move. Again, another one in 3 monthly demand, taken the bounce straight out of that. And then I had a 6 monthly, so I had a 6 monthly alerted up here, which I didn't hit on the previous move. It's come back down into 3 months, so yeah, I mean, I kind of expect this to be going up. Taken out monthly supply here, taken out a weekly. Got a monthly supply immediately above, which is going to cause it some problems. But again, on this, this points me towards thinking that Bitcoin's going to have a bigger drop than some of these alts. Rather than everything going to go up. So I mean, yes, everything could go up and these could go up more. In order for this to continue up. The other, again, we're still running with that risk that we're doing now. You know, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to get either ABC, or that this is A, B, C. Still running those risks. Or is this already the ABC that's already happened? And that's what I find challenging about Elliott waves, and as I always say, I'm not an Elliott person. So that's in a 3-week supply. It's hit here. It's going to have a 3-week demand below. I'll just mark that as a. Yeah, so a bit more coming up to a sort of moment of truth. You know, are these going to have bigger breakouts? You know, BCH, I think I had some news of, I don't think it was ETF news, it was something along those lines with somebody making a fund for it. So that was what the cause of that up move was, but obviously it's had absolutely zero follow-up. But maybe this is its time. I guess when I look back, I always just sort of think, yes, while you look at that in isolation, it looks bullish, it's a retest, we're going to make a new high. We've also got a lot of this going on. You know, where we can look back at the BTC pairs and see they've done pumps, they maybe get a second pump, but then they just die. And yeah, so that's, I guess, always my concern. So while this is at a temporary resistance level, this is stronger than the Ripple and Litecoin BTC pairs that I've looked at a minute ago. Check the chat quickly. Yeah, this is stronger than the other big BTC pairs that I've looked at a minute ago, but you need to see it pull back and then continue. So it seems a bit ridiculous actually charting these when I'm just saying they all need to pull back, you know, after having a massive candle like this, but it's more just to look at where they are in relation to resistance, and you can see that they are all coming into resistance. So again, just to be careful with your longs if you're in them, you know, start looking at taking bits off. Then you can look for the aggressive scalp entries like I've got there, the bigger retracement entries, and then hope that it doesn't come all the way back down here. And that trend line still makes me very nervous. But I say that, but then I look back over here, you know, there's a whole trend line here, and it broke up and it just kept going. So I guess we have to be bullish until proven otherwise. Watching Bitcoin out of the corner of my eye. I'm not really doing anything particularly exciting. Yeah, so that's BCH. And finally EOS, which has had the bigger move today. And EOS is always pretty shit. Let me just look at the BTC pair first. Okay, yeah, so I alerted monthly supply there. I think because EOS, as most people know, like I generally look at as a top signal. So I don't know why I really needed an alert on that, but that's kind of interesting. So yeah, still obviously in a very big downtrend. It's had a decent move up. May create daily or 3-day demand in there, but has this monthly supply not far off. It's got a bit of space though before it gets to that, so that may allow the very messy US dollar pair to move a bit further. So, sorry, it's got very, very cold here today and I've started coughing quite a bit. Smoking probably doesn't help that. So, again, still in 3-month supply and it's just messy. 2-month, monthly, so on this also we've got a new, leave that 3-month there, we've got a new monthly demand on this, which I will alert because I haven't updated this yet. So EOS I normally use as my top signal and my bottom signal, and I've been a bit quiet on these majors, both new and old, recently because they haven't really been showing me. Like I chart and post them when I really see confluence across the market, well, when I really see, like, i.e. they're all hitting resistance, and therefore I can generally see when the wholesale market reversal is going to happen. But in this area it was just super messy, and it wasn't clean, so like while that did sort of point to an up, unfortunately nothing. I think I deleted, on all of these majors actually, I've deleted all the lower entries I have, but on all of these I was looking for, you know, entries down at this 5-day, 4-day, and it's 5-day, 4-day, 3-day in here at the bottom, which I didn't get. And then EOS, I think I left it after this point because I just don't trust EOS, and that was a 2-day supply. It gave a decent reaction down into daily demand and then took off. So I should probably not suffer from lack of trust of EOS quite so much. Okay, so we're now hitting 3-weekly supply inside this 3-month, but the 3 months already been tested. There's a choppy 3 months, so this could run through it. More confident of a short entry, 3-week supply up there, and there's a weekly inside. Can't type. So yeah, there's a 3-week supply here and there's a weekly supply there, and that would be where I'd be looking for a rejection and then to continue the downtrend really on this. So while the others look a bit more towards an uptrend, this is still in that sort of downtrend. Unless it breaks here, then we can start looking for the bigger move up. Yeah, ring at random. So yeah, what I'm looking for here is either just a break directly through all this supply, make a higher high over that level. That's the level, or maybe even that level is the one that actually broke this support. If it makes a higher high over this level, then you're much more confident of looking for longs back down here. But at this point, given we've got a monthly, you can still, I think it's still viable to look for longs. So again, I'm going to pull, I really like this structure locally in there, but I'll pull this entry, this level up to here. So yeah, that's on the monthly demand. And what I'm really hoping on these is that when we do retest, that we don't come all the way back down deeply inside like BCH and just take so long. Hopefully the market's like more bullish now. Everybody's so excited about ETFs. It's confluent with the daily demand on the breakout there, so that's another horrendous entry on the lower time frame, confluent with the monthly level. So yeah. And it's not that far off, so yeah, similar to something like this, you're looking for that drop down into there, and then the second push will be nice on that. If we get up into here, you're looking for shorts. I just can't remember what the BTC pair looked like. It had a bit of space actually, so here it was again reasonable to look for shorts, and or if you see something on the lower time frames. Yeah, still making some 4-hour demand in here. So again, if you see the 4-hour demand break, then you can look for shorts, and EOS will give a good short because it's EOS. But it's still very early in the picture. And again, yeah, I mean, sometimes it will happen quickly like this. Other times you get much more time in the top. Mostly you get a lot more time at the top. But yeah, again, so all of these, the summary, I guess, of all the old majors is all in supply. Unless you're a quality scalper, I wouldn't suggest jumping on things. If you are going to jump on anything, Ripple and BCH would be the two to do it on, I think. Mainly because of the structures, so BCH obviously, and also keep an eye on BCH, the Grayscale pair, to see if that breaks out. So BCH, I think, is worth potentially looking for a long because you've still got some space before the 2-month supply, and also because it had so long in consolidation. Ripple, structurally, I don't like it being in supply, but it can break because it's the third hit, and we are trying to break this triangle. So if it's not its usual sort of arsehole Ripple self, maybe we're going to get a breakthrough here. But that's a daily demand to look at for that. Litecoin, yeah. Litecoin, you can look for entries on these 12 hours if you really want to, but I'm not going to alert them because I don't necessarily think they're high probability when we've just hit a first hit on a 2-month supply. And EOS, yeah, I just don't really like looking for aggressive longs on EOS because I don't trust it, and I just think EOS is one of the weakest coins in the market, and I only keep it on here as a major because it used to be one, and it can help me just decide where the top is. So EOS more looking for a final push into that supply, but all of these really could reject now. So per comments earlier, I'll just go back to that quickly. Per comments earlier, if you watch my earlier video on US dollar dominance, this has hit, click, click. This has hit 6-month demand here, and is trying to break trend. But again, is it going to happen this quickly, or are we going to get another dip down into it first, etc, etc. Like, it's a huge zone, it doesn't necessarily have to stop here. It's got weekly, it's got 3-day, it's got a whole load more stuff underneath, also a monthly in there. Broken this little trend line, but it's the weekend, and you know, we don't have the volume coming in today. But there is a possibility this makes an up move next week, so just, you know, keep your longs safe at this point. If you see it start to break down, continue to long the alt market like a crazy person. And yeah, that's that. But yeah, so these are, like, overall the confluence is there for potentially shorts on all of these in confluence with that US dollar dominance chart. So be a little bit careful. Look for your retest entries for scalps if the market doesn't drop off. And yeah, Ripple and BCH are the two that are the more interesting two out of these. Hope that's of some use. Any questions in chat, let me know.